So the first mode in the DrumCat, the most important mode because it's the one you probably use the most, is called simple mode. Simple mode means you want one note per pad. Now, you step on the edit foot switch, you hit pad, let's say pad 1. Simple is S-I-M-P-L. If it's not there, let's say you see some other screen and you don't know what to do, you can just keep on hitting pad number 6, which is the value advance, until you find it. And if you pass it like I just did, again, you go back to pad 3, you hit the reverse, and there's simple pad. So if you are plugged into your MIDI out cable is plugged into a drum machine, let's say like a Roland machine that is a general MIDI note numbers, that means that there are certain note numbers that are going to be standard that will work automatically with the DrumCat. In fact, anything general MIDI. General MIDI drum kits are always on channel 10. So the first thing that we have to do is to move that cursor, which is pad number 2, and change that to channel 10. You do that by hitting pad 6 until you get to channel 10. Whoops, I missed it. What do? Go back to pad 3, hit it once, hit pad 6 once, and there's channel 10. Now, let's say I want a bass drum sound. If you look in your manual on your drum module, you'll see that a bass drum is MIDI note number 36. So I now move the cursor over to the next slot by hitting pad 2. And now you see something that says D1 equals 38. Now, what that is doing is showing you two things. It's showing you the MIDI note number, that's the thing that's blinking on the right, which is 38. And then D1 represents the note that would correlate on a keyboard. So if I go down a half step to 37, you'll see C sharp. If I go down again, I'm looking for that bass drum note, which is MIDI note number 36. It just happens to be C1. So if you were trying to play drum sounds from a keyboard, you would know now that a bass drum sound is on C1 MIDI note number 36. Okay. Now the next line, we see, again, the velocity. And this means that when I play softly on the DrumCat, how soft do I want the sound to sound? I could make it so that when I'm playing very soft, it's going to play soft, and when I play loud, it's going to play loud. And that's represented by two numbers. The first number tells me just how soft it's going to be. The lowest number is 0. The highest number is 127. In MIDI, it's always that way. It goes from 0 to 127, or in some synthesizers, 1 to 128. But the point is, there are 127 different settings that you can choose every time you want to do one of the MIDI functions. So here I'm going to set on the pad that when I play soft, it's going to play an 8. And when I play loud, it's going to play a 127. So that gives a range of like over 100 and something different velocity levels from soft to loud. Now, the number next to it, the next function, I got there again by moving over that cursor advance on pad 2. You see CRV, and there's a curve number. And there are different choices. And what these curves do is tell soft to loud. As you're playing soft to loud, you can get there in a linear fashion, in an exponential fashion, in a logarithmic fashion. In fact, you can even make your own curves. So what you need to do, 1 is a great place to start, curve number 1. But if you think it's getting loud too fast and you want to change how quickly it gets from soft to loud, you can play with these curves and find a dynamic curve response that's right for you. On the bottom line, when we're dealing with the gate, on a lot of drum machines, the gate has no effect. But if you were playing a sampler or on a keyboard drum machine, the length of the sound would be determined by this function. And in this case, if I struck a snare drum sound or bass drum sound, it would play for 1/2 of a second. If I wanted the bass drum to sound for a full second, I had this value advance up to 1, and now you're seeing 1.000. That's 1 second and 000 milliseconds. If I want it to be 1.5 seconds, I would go, whoops, I would go just like that. And now I have 1.5 seconds. So this is simple mode. Now simple mode, again, is the very fast, quick way, down and dirty way to get note numbers from pad to pad. So if I wanted pad 2 to be a snare drum, which is MIDI note number 38, just watch how fast it is. Step on. I simply step on the edit foot switch, I hit pad 2, now I'm on pad 2, I want to go to multi-mode, I want to move that back down to simple, I want to go to channel 2, I want to move it up to channel 10, I want my 74 to go down to 38 rather, I want my, 38, I want my curve to be 0 to 8 to 127, curve number 1, I want my gate time, let's say, to be 0.25 seconds, and that's how fast that sound is on my synth.